What is going on, y'all? We're back for another one, and this weekend we're gonna be working on my BMW. Yeah, a lot of y'all probably don't know if you haven't seen videos of me drifting, but I do have 03 325i that has been LS swapped, and it is my drift car. And well, the last event of 2023 in December, I wrecked it, and it's been sitting ever since. I think I've started it once or twice since then. Like, it has just been sitting. I've been waiting on parts, and then, well, you know what, they just all showed back up. But I have to get this thing to where it can move around in the yard. I'll get a little bit better view for y'all now, so y'all can tell that is bananaed. That whole lower arm is bananaed. That lower pickup for that coilover is destroyed too. Now this is about $600 worth of parts that I'm having to replace for one little incident. Yeah, you can just barely see that bolt. Just a touch bent. That's what it did to the lower mount of the coilover. Just rolled it right out. I'll put a clip in of how I wrecked it in just a second. Now we're just going to keep disassembling here. Okay. See, and this piece should just slide out of here. Hopefully it's not chewed up. There we go. Yep, it's bent. Just as I figured, it's bent. The caster adjustment, and hopefully it'll kind of give it a little bit of wiggle room. And so yeah, more bent and broken stuff. I think I'll be able to push this bushing back to where it's supposed to be, and it might be okay. We'll see. We'll get that in the shop. I'm kind of curious though. I'm thinking about taking this bolt out too, just to be sure. I don't want to get to a point where I put everything back together and I know this is tore up as well. So I'm probably going to fight with it and get it out and inspect it and see. Surprise, surprise. Guess what else is bent? That is supposed to be straight as a dadgum arrow, and it's not. It looks like everything for this whole driver's side is bent. I mean everything. And hopefully this Heim joint survived. Feels okay. Maybe it's still straight even though everything it's attached to is crooked as a question mark. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. We'll work with it. All right, so we got everything out, and I'd say the rack is okay. It still feels, I mean, it's easy to push in and out, so we're gonna go with the rack is okay, but everything else is not okay. I'll get you in the shop here in a second and I'll show you the carnage on everything. Well, I'm sitting here thinking, this is kind of just an evolving situation. If everything else has been bent, is that bent too? So I'm gonna take the bottom part of this, the kit off, the angle kit, and see if that's bent too. It's probably bent. Probably bent. So let's get that knocked off and we'll check it too. It's not good. Not good at all. So this is the broken pile, and that's the okay pile. I'm glad I decided to take the actual angle kit bracket off, because these pins set your bump steer, and they are broken off inside of the bracket. It's not good. I'm gonna try to drill them out, but I'm not real hopeful that they're gonna come out because they sheared inside of it. So that means they're probably stuck for life. So the only way I can fix that is hopefully get it out or buy another one. And these little puppies right here are expensive. This is a This is a machine part. This is broken, as you can see. That's where the pins were to hold your bump steer, and those are broken off, so we're gonna need a new one of those. Bent, really bent. A banana. And this is the lower control arm. You can tell it broke right here and twisted, and so it's trash. I've already spent $600 on this, so it looks like I'm about to spend another $200 to $300. So my plan here is, I don't really have one, I'm just shooting from the hip, y'all. Is I'm gonna try to grind and open these holes up just a little bit. I've got a Scotch-Brite pad on here. I don't want to get too crazy because this is a machine service and I don't want to mess it up that much. So I'm gonna try to grind and open up these holes out, and hopefully I can just tap it from the other side, kind of rough with a brass hammer, and maybe get them to fall out. See if I can work this edge off. Got one out. Yeah, it's like playing doctor or whatever it was back in the day. Operator. I don't know. That's a win in my book, y'all. Trash. What else can we fix? Not a lot. I guess I can install the new inner tie rods. That's really about it. So we're gonna install what we know we can install, which is new inner tie rods, both sides. As I never just change one side unless I'm at the track. So I always change them in pairs, and then if you only bend one, then you have a spare. Go ahead and get this tight as we can get it. No Loctite. I know people say Loctite these things, but if you're like me and you bend them, don't Loctite them. Go ahead and get that so tight whenever you're at the track you can't get it off. Throw your dust boot on. Now, there's a lot of drifters out there that don't use dust boots. Guys, use a dust boot. It'll keep your rack from getting chewed up with dirt getting inside of it, and it doesn't take long to just throw one on real quick. Now we install our new tube, whatever you want to call it, the angling extension. And that's really about it. That's all we can do. I'm gonna take the coilover apart and check it here in just a second. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start taking this coilover apart and check and see if it's bent. I'm hoping it's not, but well, everything else has been going. I'm not optimistic. Broken. All right, we are back. It has been an entire week, and I got some parts in the mail. I got all new bolts and shanks and misalignment spacers, and I went ahead and got a new insert for this bushing. I just got a new one. I mean, I was already there buying stuff, and these were like 20 bucks. So. All right, so that's the original, and what I did is I just counted the threads, and then I screwed that one in to where the other one was. It was about 5 threads showing, so I screwed it in and counted about 5, and that'll get it close enough for what we're doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and install this pin in between that point and this pin right here. That'll set the lower control arm. Now I always put a healthy amount of never sees on things like this. I can't do it right now because I'm holding the camera, but it helps you get it out one day. If you mess it up, then you can get it out. All these suspension parts that come off and on, I always put a good bit of never sees on. There's the top of the pin, there's the bottom of the pin. I was trying to film it and hold the camera, but it was just too much work. But I got it in. So now we're gonna throw on the angle attachment real quick. All right, so this is the first one I install. It's got the taper. So this is basically what makes up for your ball joint on the original lower control arm. And since we're going to all Heim joints, you have to have a taper here to kind of lock it in. It's the same process as putting in a ball joint. And that slides into there. This comes in from the top. And it has a nut that's captured. There we go. Go ahead and get this tight. That's pretty. Finally time to install this lower control arm. Same process. I always just put a little bit of never sees on here. Go ahead and unthread this. So there we go. I got everything installed. Y'all didn't miss a whole lot. I mean, it's just putting Heim joints on pins and whatnot. It's not too terribly difficult. The main arm goes to the main pin down there where the pickup point for the old lower control arm used to be, and this is the pickup point for the inner and outer tie rods. Not too terribly difficult to assemble these. I got everything tight. So now I'm just going to center the rack and get the wheels eyeballed, pointing straight, and I'll worry about doing a full alignment in the future. Feels so good to have this baby moving around on her own again. Man, you wouldn't believe how happy I am to be in this thing driving it again. She has been sitting and sitting and sitting. Looks like it's all right to me. Let's get it over here and get some of the pollen off of it. Whoo, man, am I happy to have this thing to where it can move around in the yard again. No, it is not perfect. I think something's wrong with the subframe in the front, but I've got enough adjustment in the front with volley pops and whatnot that it's okay. I can bring it in, you know. So we're just gonna call it good, at least for this season. And I've got a mind to buy another car and deck it out, build it, and then swap all of my drivetrain in it eventually. This is not something that's going to happen fast because this thing is still good. Now, I'm not going to go through and try to fix all the cosmetics on it and whatnot, because at the end of the day, this thing is a drift car. y'all. It's not a show car. I don't pull up to the show meets and put my little plaque in front of it, you know, and say this is my BMW. I beat on this thing. I beat on this thing. I built it to beat on it. So we'll see. Eventually I might get another car, but right now we're gonna call it good. I'm gonna actually clean it up later. I'm not gonna do it right now because I just want to be able to drive it around in the yard. So I'll see you next weekend. I appreciate you for watching.